What's going on, everybody? Hey, welcome back to the channel. As promised, we are back here. I went to the gym after I got done with the last stream, and now I am back. We're going to go over some auction stuff. There's also some news we're going to go over regarding a couple of well, one was a contract, the other is a injury kind of concern that we will, I guess, address if people have any concerns about it. So let's jump into the full screen here. So as you guys know, the first headline right here is Barkley signing a 1-year $11 million deal with the Giants this morning. I don't have this other piece on here for some reason. Let me get it on here real quick. So Barkley is officially at training camp today. We weren't sure if he was going to be there or not, but it turns out he is there. He showed up early. He was there early this morning. He probably could have got a little more money, obviously, but let's see here. Now that I got this on here, let me get this other piece of news. Oh, we got another piece of news of Justin Herbert here. Let me go ahead and size this up a little bit. It's pretty close. So Herbert is our next piece of news today. Just signed while I was at the gym. After I got off, not too long after I got off, I went to the gym, and he signed a 5-year, $262.5 million deal with the Chargers. That comes out to about $52.5 million. I don't think that makes him the highest paid quarterback. I'm really not sure on that. I believe Hurts is getting like $53 million a year, and so I think he's like the second or third. He's either just ahead of Lamar or just behind Lamar, and I believe he's behind Jalen Hurts. So that leaves obviously Joe Burrow left to sign. Joe Burrow is going to be the last guy to sign. It's probably a good thing for the Bolts to get this done, because when Joe Burrow gets his contract, it's going to be more, and they were going to have to pay more probably if Joe Burrow got his done. Really, the Bengals should have got it done with Burrow before this happened, because now the Bengals are going to owe probably a little more than, I mean, he's going to be probably the highest paid quarterback at this point. So now we were suspecting it would be around 60 mil for really both of these guys. So the fact that it's $52.5 million a year for Herbert, I would say that's a pretty decent price tag for the Bolts. It could have been more, I feel like. And so a little bit of a discount-ish kind of for, I mean, I'm not going to say $52.5 million is a discount. That's a lot of money every year, but it could have been more. The Bengals are going to wish they would have got Burrow like the $52.5 million probably. They're probably going to have to fork up a little bit more. I would say in the ballpark of 54 to 55 million now. Maybe, I wouldn't think he could get 60, but he's not going to take that. I think he sees what Patrick Mahomes has done, taking the discount and deciding to win, versus, you know, taking all the money that he could probably get. And so I think that's the route a lot of these quarterbacks are going to start going if they really want to win. And so I think that's the route that Burrow takes. Now, I do think Burrow still becomes the highest paid quarterback out of the bunch, and he becomes, you know, he gets about 55, 56 maybe $million a year. And so I do think that will end up happening. And the Bengals are probably going to wish they would have got the deal done with Burrow before this news came out today, before Herbert got his done. And so yeah, let's move into the news scene. I do have this on hand. We'll go over Herbert first. So According to Ian Rappaport of NFL Network, quarterback Justin Herbert signed a 5-year extension with the Chargers for $262.5 million with guarantees as well. About $52.5 million a year. And he's earned it. I will say he's earned it for the most part, and I think he has a big year this year. I'm high on Herbert. Herbert is one of the nuclear players on my nuclear player list that is going to be going off this year.
Players are going nuclear in 2023, dropping mushrooms on the competition. Draft as many nuclear players as you can to demolish other league members in fantasy football this year.
I think there's a ton of value with somebody like Herbert. He's on the list for a reason. You can get him in round 5 pretty much every single time out. I literally never see him go anywhere else but round 5. I may have seen him go in round 6 like a long time ago, back in like early April, late April, early May. But now he's a pretty much bona fide round 5 guy with the upside of a round 2 type of quarterback. I think he has a bounce back year this year with Kellen Moore as a new offensive coordinator coming over from Dallas. He's got his receivers back. He's gonna be a top quarterback this year if those guys can manage to stay healthy, I think. And if you get a little bit more play out of Keenan Allen this year, even a little bit more out of Mike Williams. They added Quentin Johnston, who I like as a third guy there. I like that he's stepping into the number 3 receiver role, and you got Gerald Everett as well, who I think is probably going to up his game a little bit. Kellen Moore is usually up the tight end play, whoever his tight end is on that team that he is the offensive coordinator for. Everett had a pretty decent year last year. I expect him to have another decent year this year as well. I like Gerald Everett as a late tight end, actually, to be honest. If you can get him as your second tight end in the best ball league, or even if you go like in your main league, you go thrift shop tight end he would be one of the guys that's up there that I would consider taking. So I don't mind Everett on this team. I think he has another decent year as well, maybe even better than last year if he can stay healthy. So this is going to be a team to look out for, man. I've said it before, I'll say it again. This is going to be a team that I am looking out for, and it's really a team that I want a lot of the players that are on the team. So I want a lot of these guys that are on the team, because they're a high scoring offense. They're going to pass the ball just about more than anybody in the league, and that is what it is. They will pass the ball more than just about anybody in the league. And so you're going to have the numbers as long as the production is there, which I think it will be. I mean, he's going to put up numbers every single week for you as long as he stays healthy. And so give me some of Herbert. I have a little bit of Herbert. I probably don't have enough of him, but I do have quite a bit of him. I'd be curious to see exactly how much I actually do have of him. Actually, I'm kind of curious to see what I have here, what percentage I have. It's probably not as high as somebody like Trevor Lawrence, but it's got to be close. It's got to be close. I don't know why it's taking forever to sign in here. This thing is being weird. Try again. Alright, we'll just wait for that to come out. This is being slow. Underdog's having an issue with their website, I think. So, yeah, man, give me some of Herbert. I like Herbert a lot. He's on the nuclear player list for a reason. Him and Trevor Lawrence both. They're discounted quarterbacks that I think are being drafted a little too low, and they need to start going a little sooner in drafts, in my opinion. And so I think they're two of the main options, other than maybe Joe Burrow, that you could, aside from Joe Burrow, if you wanted to take a little bit of a, I wouldn't say a gamble. I don't really think it's a gamble. I would just say it's a little bit of a laid back approach to taking quarterback a little later. I think those three guys are your best option. And you know, when you get these guys in the 5th round, Lawrence you can get in 6 or even 7. Sometimes it's really crazy. Joe Burrow's a 4th rounder, sometimes a 5th rounder. It's a lot of value at those guys because they're top quarterbacks that all of them have the potential to be, you know, a top 5 quarterback in the league in fantasy football. Herbert and Burrow have the potential to win the MVP this year. They're always in the running for the MVP. And so when you tell me, hey, I can get an MVP like quarterback in round 5 or round 6 or round, you know, the end of round 4, why would you not take the opportunity to gamble on that, you know? All right, this thing finally came up. We have let me see what my exposure is to Herbert. I'm kind of curious. It's probably a little more than what people think. I do like Herbert, obviously. I'm high on Herbert. It's not as high as I'd like it to be, though. It's 11.1%. I got 16 shares of them. So I kind of want to see what my exposure is to the quarterbacks here. Lawrence is 29.2%. He's like the second most behind Kenny Pickett. I have Kenny Pickett a lot because he's usually like my 3rd quarterback in a lot of my teams. I got Jalen Hurts at 18%. I got Joe Burrow at almost 23%. Joe Burrow's my 4th highest owned. So like, I'm obviously a little higher on Burrow than Herbert, but I do like Herbert as well. Herbert's a good 5th round pick if a lot of guys come off the board that you would normally want. So nothing wrong with going Justin Herbert. All right, let's get into the last piece of news here. This really doesn't shock me at all because I know this guy's still trying to come back from the injury a little bit from last year. Jonathan Taylor, placed on the PUP list by the Indianapolis Colts, according to Tom Pelissero. This is by Chris Schomer, Colts correspondent here for Fantasy Pros. Taylor missed the last 3 games of the 2022 season and continues to recover from arthroscopic right ankle surgery that that the star running back underwent in January. Taylor will likely be eased back into action as more of a precaution in order to save his talents for when the regular season begins. Let me see how much I got of Taylor. I don't have like any shares of Taylor. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm not as high on him this year. He didn't burn me last year because I didn't have him. I didn't have him really on any of my teams. He burned a lot of other people, obviously. Let me type in Jonathan Taylor here because I literally have like no shares of him. I have 4 shares of him. This is what I got. I'm really not high on Taylor, so he goes too early for me, in my opinion, especially after what we seen last year. They added Richardson, who doesn't throw to the running backs, who's a running quarterback, he's gonna take away from this guy. He's going to. And I don't know if Richardson starts day 1, but if you guys look here, I'll show you guys. I got 4 shares of him. 2.8%, not a whole lot of invested into Taylor. I've obviously taken him, 4 times, but I'm being straight with you guys. I'm being honest with you guys. I don't have much of Taylor. And so, you can draft a guy in the 2nd round, the early 2nd round, because that's about where he goes. But this might drop his ADP a little bit, which, it should, because it's kind of concerning news to a degree. I think this is the active PUP list, so they can pull him off at any time, just like Breece Hall. And so I just look, man, the ad of Anthony Richardson is going to affect this guy, whether you guys think it does or not. I'm telling you, it's going to. He is a running QB. He's going to run. Both guys cannot run the ball at the same time. There's only one football that's on the field at a time. You know, there's only one football field, and there's only one football that is on that football field every game. So Richardson can't take a ball and run up the left side, and then Jonathan Taylor on the same play run up the right side. Somebody's going to get some of their production eaten into, and that person's going to be Jonathan Taylor. And for that reason, I wouldn't say I don't like Taylor as a running back. I do, but I just don't like the price tag. The price tag to me is too high, especially after what he did last year. And this isn't like super concerning news. I think he will be ready to go by the start of the season. But at the same time, there's other guys that go past him, that go around him, that I am a little higher on, that I would rather take a chance on. Because I feel like I know what I'm getting versus this guy. You don't know what you're going to get out of this guy because you've never seen him play with Anthony Richardson. And on top of it, he's coming from the injury. He's coming off the injury, you know, that ankle. He had surgery on it, and he probably needed it because that ankle was bothering him all year. He kept re-aggravating it, kept rolling it, you know. After the first time he rolled it, he ended up rolling it again. And so the Colts aren't going to be as competitive, I think, as what people think this year. On top of that, they're going to be another team that's in the running for a top 10 pick in the draft next year as well. I 100% believe that. And that's another reason why I would maybe stay away from this guy. A lot of the good fantasy players, I mean, not every single fantasy player is like this, but if you go by the vast majority of good fantasy players every year, they're usually on good teams. And so you factor him being on the Colts. The Colts, I don't think are going to be as competitive as what people think. I don't think they're going to be a 500 team or better. And so that also kind of plays into my devaluation of him as a fantasy football player. And I just think at the top of round 2, middle of round 2, because that's about where he goes. He goes about the top of round 2, middle of round 2, which is kind of high. He goes... His ADP it's 17.2, so it's about middle of round 2-ish. But I've seen him go consistently around pick 15, 16, 17. So it's too big of a price tag for me to gamble on, in my opinion. I would rather have Barkley over him. I would rather have Pollard over him. And I would rather have Nick Chubb over him. I think out of all these guys that we're talking about that are in round 2, and you could even throw Derrick Henry in there too. I don't really throw Derrick Henry in there. I think he's kind of a 2-3 turn player now. But Barkley, Pollard, Taylor, and Nick Chubb, and a lot of people probably would not agree with me on this, but I would take those other running backs over Taylor this year. I think they produce in fantasy more this year than what he does. So I'm just not as high on the guy, and I only have 4 shares of him, so that should tell you guys all you guys need to know. So, all right, let's get into fantasy football auction stuff. Let's get into the auction stuff. So, I'm going to play this for you guys, and we will talk about auction. We'll talk about strategies. For those of you guys who do not know, most auction leagues you usually have, so however many teams you have, whether it's 10, 12, 14, or whatever, everybody has a budget, okay? That budget is usually like $100 or $200. In my league, we use $200 budget. And so you bid on players, or basically you have a draft order, just like a regular draft order and redraft. Okay, really? Come on. So you have a draft order. Just like in redraft, you have a team that's in the 1 spot all the way to the 12 spot or whatever. My team is my league is a 12 teamer. So we got 12 teams. and you have a draft order. But what you do is you take turns nominating players. So you go through the draft order of nomination. It's not drafting players. You nominate players to be bidded on. And so there is a little bit of a strategy to it, to a degree. And I will take you guys through it here. Give me 1 second here. All right, so here we go. I'm going to play it for you guys. Here we go.
These are the key strategies to implement during your auction fantasy football draft. Use these strategies to strike fear into your league mates as you dominate on draft night.
Yep. All right, so there's 4 main keys to this. We'll go over them one by one. So number 1, don't wait too long to nominate, quote, your guys, the guys that you want. Okay. I'll go over each of the bullet points here. Logic would be to wait until wait until the later rounds when your league mates run low on money. Then try to snag the players you like. That's what the logic would tell you. But although that could work to a degree, this could also backfire. You got to ask yourself first, how long are you gonna wait? So how many rounds are you gonna wait? How many nominations are you gonna wait? Because you gotta it just depends on which players get nominated at a certain point. And then secondly, you gotta know what your backup plan is gonna be. You gotta have a backup plan if you miss out on one of those guys. So, and this is why it's tough. And I'll tell you guys, like, you look at like your tiers, right? Say you go over tiers of receivers. So if you go over your tiers of receivers, I apologize for that sound. It's my cat. You go over your tiers, or you go over the tiers of receivers. Say you miss out on say you have like a tier 1 receiver that you want. So you're talking about Chase, Jefferson. You're talking about Cooper Kupp, Tyreek Hill. Those are probably the guys I would have in the tier 1 as far as receivers go. Say the guy you really want is Tyreek Hill, okay? Or say the guy that you really want is Chase. It doesn't matter. Say one of those guys has a guy that you really want. But let's say let's say you want Tyreek Hill. And say that Jefferson, Chase, and Cooper Kupp all get nominated before that guy, and you don't really go after either of those 3 guys. And you don't end up getting any of those 3 guys because you didn't really bid on them much. Maybe you bidded here and there, but you ultimately did not end up getting either of those 3 guys. You're like, okay, I'm gonna get Tyreek Hill. Now what happens is, if Tyreek Hill gets nominated, say maybe immediately after or maybe a little bit later, what's going to happen? Do you have a backup plan if you don't end up getting that guy because somebody just bids him way too high, a little more than what you're willing to pay for? And so at that point, you can't say, well, I'll just go get Jamar Chase or I'll just go get Cooper Kupp, because at that point they're already gone, for instance. And so you got to have a backup plan of what you're going to do if you miss out on some of those guys. And so it's a tough situation to be in. You got to remember there's 11 other guys, or 10 or 9, or however many guys that are in your league. There's that many other guys that are willing to, they have the same amount of money roughly, at least to start, unless you're in a keeper league like me. But if it's a brand new auction league, they have the same amount of money as you, so they have that money to bid as well. And so you got to kind of pick your battles. All right, let's move on. Don't immediately nominate your favorite players onto the board when all the teams are flush with money. This is like day 1 stuff. You got to know there is a strategy in nominating certain players, because like I said, you nominate players early that you really do like, that are high-end players, that are a high-level player, then everybody's obviously you're gonna have 6-7 guys putting bids on that guy, and it might end up going up to a price tag that you're not willing to pay for, but other guys are, and everybody else has, they have their full budget on hand. And so that's why you got to be careful who you nominate at the beginning. is there's a chance you nominate a guy you really, really like, but then you see the price tag go up pretty high and you end up getting out, and now you just missed out on your guy. Lower value players can sneak by at lower bids early on in basically the early rounds rather than in the later rounds when other teams are scrambling for players. So, and I've seen this firsthand, guys. This actually happened last year a ton. So there's like a, let me see here. I kind of want to get let me get the camera up here so you guys can actually see me talk here. All right, I'm gonna be down here in the corner. Or actually, hold on a second. Let me. Copy. We're gonna play it again for you guys.
Strategies to implement during your auction fantasy football draft. Use these strategies to strike fear into your league mates as you dominate on draft night.
Yep.
All right, so I've seen this firsthand, okay? When it comes to guys, you have guys who like wait way too long to go get their guys. They ended up having a ton of cash at the end of the draft. It is one of the biggest mistakes you can make. I've seen it firsthand last year. It happened last year. So last year, people were a little more cautious with their money because it was year 2. They kind of already knew what to expect a little bit after doing it the year prior. So last year, there was a couple of guys who had a ton of cash. They actually didn't really end up keeping anybody for the most part. I think the one guy kept a couple of players. The other guy, he didn't really keep anybody. These guys had a lot of money. They had, and then we had one guy who didn't keep anybody. He ended up finishing last place. And then this year, or not this year, but the last year, he had $200 and he had to build a roster from scratch, and he waited too long to go out and bid on players. He let some of these higher profile guys slide by. He basically had a bunch of money at the end of the draft that really it didn't matter. You don't want to be the guy that has all the money at the end of the draft, because by then all the good players have pretty much gone, or even some of the guys that go round 3, 4, 5 who are pretty good players. Most of those guys are pretty much gone. You have a bunch of money to bid on bad players that are only really bad players that are left on the board. And so you don't want to be that guy. And I've seen a couple of those guys in my league last year. And guess what? I'm going to do it to him again this year. I won't ever be one of those guys. I promise you guys. I will overpay for a player every now and again just to make sure I'm not one of those guys who has a ton of cash at the end of the draft with nothing to show for it. That's the worst thing you can do. So, and I've seen that. And so a good strategy, you guys see this bullet point, this 4th bullet point down here underneath the number 1 key to auction drafts. It says sometimes the early part of the draft, you'll find the teams being hesitant. There's going to be a couple teams that are hesitant to spend money. They play what we call the waiting game, and they try not to overspend early. This can be exploited in your draft. The way that you can exploit this is by nominating lower level guys that you want. Okay, and when I say lower level guys, I mean like a wide receiver 3 or a running back 3 that you want. You nominate those guys. Let's say, for instance, you want P. Ryan. P. Ryan is a good example. P. Ryan is not really a running back 1 or 2, but he's a guy who could have some upside this year. Or we could say AJ Dillon, or any of those guys that go in like round 9 or 10 of our underdog drafts. These running backs. Let me go over them here real quick. We're talking about Brian Robinson, AJ Dillon, Charbonnet. We're talking about P. Ryan, Elijah Mitchell, guys that we like as like a running back number 3, for instance. Okay. Or even like if you wanted to talk about a receiver, we could talk about a guy like Brandon Ayuk, a guy like Chris Godwin, a guy like Tyler Lockett, Dodson, Jordan Addison, Quentin Johnston, Pickens, all those guys that are kind of like wide receiver number 3s. Those would be the guys you want to nominate early, because a lot of people aren't going to be, they're not big time names. They're not high level players. They're guys who could be your flex option. They're guys that could be your wide receiver 3, running back 3, maybe a running back 2 later down the road, or wide receiver 2 down the road. But you nominate those guys early. Nobody's going to really want to bid on those guys. They're not going to want to bid super high. They're not going to even, you're basically going to get those guys at a discount early on, rather than if you tried to nominate those guys, say, after after a good portion of the high players go. After a good portion of the high end players go, if you nominate those guys, say, later in round 5, 6, 7, then there's going to be more, you're going to get the guys who scrambled. Like, you're going to get the guys who are scrambling for players who have a bunch of money. Remember, we talked about those guys who play the waiting game. If you wait to nominate those guys later in your draft, the guys who have all the money, who missed out on a bunch of players, they're going to overpay for somebody that you would want, like a Jahan Dotson, like a Tyler Lockett, like a JSN, or a Chris Godwin or Brandon Ayuk. They're going to overpay for one of those guys because they missed out on Tyreek Hill. They missed out on Cooper Kupp. They missed out on St. Brown. They missed out on Olave. They missed out on all the first and second round guys, And so that's what you don't want to have happen, because you're going to end up missing that guy. Whereas you nominate those guys early, nobody's going to be willing to really overpay for them. And you're probably going to get them at a little bit of a discount versus what their projected price point would be. So, number 2, after a bidding war goes on, so after you have a bidding war on like a player, let's say like Cooper Kupp, nominate a high level player that you don't want that's in the same position for the most part. It doesn't say same position, but you want to nominate a player that you don't want that's in that same position. It says here, I put these bullet points down. Let player rankings and price projections influence your fellow league mates. Even great rankings are bound to have plenty of player listings or other managers, including yourself, that you disagree with. So there's going to be projections. Like I have, as you guys know, I have my own projections. This is why I have my own projections. Okay, so I have my own projections because we have, hold on, let me mute that. Let me go to display here. So I have my own projections along with the sleeper projections. Everybody's going to be able to see whether you're drafting on Sleeper or whether you're drafting on whatever site. That site's going to provide projections for you. And so I have a Sleeper price point projection right here. This is the blue column right here. This is Sleeper's price tag for these said players. And this is based off of my league, off of a $200 budget, yada yada. And then I have my own projected price point over here. And so now a lot of people don't really do their homework and do their own projections and this and that, and so they just they either go off a sheet that they printed off at home or something from somebody else, or they print off maybe the website sheet or whatever. So they're going to have all these on hand of what the site says that they should go for. That doesn't mean that is what they should go for. That's just what the site is recommending. That is, everybody's going to have disagreements with that, or maybe they do agree or whatever. But so going back to this here, you have, if you have like a high player go, like let's say you have like Tyreek Hill who goes, you got 5 people bidding on him, somebody ends up getting him, whatever. You put another one of those players that you don't want. So say you don't want like AJ Brown. Like I don't want AJ Brown this year. I would nominate AJ Brown immediately after, because he's another high profile receiver that I don't want. but I want other people to spend their money on. And they're going to spend their money on them. And then somebody's going to eventually get them. But what it does is it puts like the other bidders, the other managers who bidded on Tyreek Hill, the pick before, if they missed out on Tyreek Hill, they're going to feel a little bit of urgency. They're going to feel a little bit of pressure to maybe go out and get somebody like AJ Brown and not miss on another big time high profile player at the same position because they just missed out on Tyreek Hill. So I put this on here twice, whoops. So it says follow a bidding war with another high profile player in the same position. Odds are a league mate or two feels a sense of urgency or loss over not getting the previous high profile player. And that is true. People will start to kind of feel the urgency, the pressure, but like, man, I just missed out on Tyreek and I missed out on Kupp. I have to go get Stephon Diggs. I have to go get AJ Brown. And so you nominate those guys immediately after and just make sure it's a guy obviously you don't want. If you do want Stephon Diggs, then you don't nominate him. You would nominate AJ Brown, or you would nominate Devontae Adams, say, if you don't want Devontae this year. You nominate one of those guys immediately after if you missed out on, say, Kupp and Hill, because it's going to influence other people. Everybody's going to bid on those players for the most part. There's going to be a good 5-6 people who want that player, and they will bid on him and run the price up to a certain point. And it's a guy that you don't want, and so you're making other people spend money. You're making other people spend money while you still keep yours. And even then, you can still bid on, say, somebody like Devontae Adams if you nominated him and just kind of run him up a little bit. You know, you got to be careful. You got to kind of know. You want to know how much other players like them, and or other managers like that player, so that you know kind of when to get off the train of bidding on a guy, because you don't want to get stuck with him. But it is kind of what it is. All right, number 3, nominate high-level quarterbacks or tight ends that you don't want. This is another way to get some of your league mates to burn money early. So like it says here, it gets players to burn money on the onesie position, is what they call it, because there's usually only one quarterback, one tight end on a roster for each team. This is why I love my keeper, because I have Trevor Lawrence at $6, so I don't even have to worry about it. And guess what? Somebody's going to nominate Justin Herbert in our draft. They're going to nominate Justin Fields if this guy doesn't keep either of those two guys, and I'm going to bid on them. Even though I have Trevor Lawrence, I'm still going to bid on those guys, because I'm going to make sure whoever gets those guys, they end up paying a steep price for them. They're not going to get like a Trevor, or I have Trevor Lawrence for $6. They're not going to go out and get Herbert or Justin Fields in our league for less than $20. They're just not going to. Even though they probably should get Fields for about 20 or so, they're not going to, because like in my league, we have keepers, and then we have like 4 high profile quarterbacks out there, and we have 7 teams, I think, that don't have a quarterback. They don't have a quarterback that's being kept, and so it creates a little bit more demand for those high profile quarterbacks. So but if you're in a fresh auction league where everybody has no keepers, you have all your money, this will get people to burn money early, and it'll give you an idea of what the market is for that position, whether it's a quarterback or tight end. So it kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of how much, maybe, like let's say that you waited on tight end, Kelsey, Andrews, Hawkinson, those guys are all off the board, and let's say Kittle's off the board too. So you have Goddard, you have Waller, you have Ingram, you have Freiermuth and Njoku. You have those 5 tight ends who probably are kind of the next in line as far as rankings go. You can kind of throw one of those guys out there, say in round 3 or 4, or whatever round you're in. You throw one of those guys out there that you don't want, say like Waller. Say you don't want Waller. You throw him out there, nominate him, just to see what he kind of goes for. And if he goes for a little bit less than what you think he should have went for, that can give you an idea that the next time that you nominate, you can nominate the tight end that you want, and then you can probably get him for a value that you would be fine with. So it kind of gives you an idea of where some of these players would go and how much they go for. Like you can bet your ass, like in my league, I'm going to be nominating some, like I already have a quarterback in my league. So I'm going to nominate a quarterback and let these guys, you know, who don't have a high profile quarterback because they didn't keep anybody or they didn't keep a quarterback, I'm going to throw one of those guys out there so that they can, one, burn money early, and two, I'm also going to bid on them as well. Because I'll take a second quarterback if I get Herbert for like cheap or something, but I won't. I'm not going to, because they're going to outbid me. But I'm going to drive the price up a little more than probably what it could have been. Because at the end of the day, somebody who has a look, as much as they would maybe like to stick me with Justin Herbert for like $30, they're not going to, because they need a quarterback at the end of the day. They're not gonna like, oh yeah, I just stuck you with Justin Herbert for $30. Now you have Herbert and Trevor Lawrence. They're like, well, yeah, well now you don't have a quarterback, so good luck. Now the demand for you know, a different quarterback who's out there like Fields or Lamar Jackson or whoever else that's out there, that just became higher for those guys. Now those guys are gonna go for like mid-30s. So. All right, last but not least, number 4 here. Follow up starting running backs with their perceived handcuffs, okay? So create a low bidding war for an insurance plan, basically. So you see, I shouldn't really be giving these out because I know there's going to be people that are in my league that watch this that are going to start implementing this. But let's say, like McCaffrey. Let's say McCaffrey goes off the board pretty early. We know his handcuff is Elijah Mitchell. So let's just say somebody let's just say I'm the 4th guy to nominate, and let's say the 3rd guy, whoever had the 3rd pick to nominate, they nominated McCaffrey. I would then in turn nominate Elijah Mitchell with the next pick and make that guy who just drafted McCaffrey go out and get Elijah Mitchell. If not, I'm going to get Elijah Mitchell for cheap. So, because realistically, if he wanted to stack and he wanted to have the insurance plan for somebody like McCaffrey, who is a good running back, who potentially could get injured, who has a little bit of an injury history, he might want Elijah Mitchell as a backup plan because he knows he's going to get all the work if McCaffrey goes down. I can drive the price up on Elijah Mitchell early if that's the case, because I have money. So does the guy who probably just drafted McCaffrey. He still has a little bit of money as well. And then obviously there's other managers who are sitting probably on a ton of cash if it's the first round. And so say McCaffrey goes like as the 3rd player and somebody drafted him for $60 something, I would throw Elijah Mitchell out there next as my next nominee, and we'll see if the guy if he wants his handcuff, we'll see how much he's willing to pay for it. That's a way to kind of make him overpay for maybe a handcuff running back. And that's really one of the rules to this, is not to overpay for a handcuff. So it is kind of one of the rules to not overpay for a handcuff. So, but you do kind of want to get a handcuff at a decent price, though, or even at a, you know, undervalued price if you can. So these are the 4 keys to your auction drafts. If you are in an auction draft, this will bring you out ahead of probably where you would have been if you do not take this information into account and you do not exercise it. And I just wanted to share this with you guys so you guys know, you guys are prepared. Basically, if you guys end up doing an auction draft in the future, or if you're already in one, this will help you out tremendously, in my opinion. So with that being said, I'm going to jump into a draft, I think. Let's do a draft, and then we'll probably call it a night. Looks like these super flexes are starting to fill up a little bit, so we're going to go ahead and jump in another one real quick. I'm kind of hoping a puppy 4 or the puppy 3 or whichever one's next. I'm hoping one of the puppy drafts come out here pretty soon, because I want to get back to doing a single QB league. I don't know why Underdog is being slow today. They're being kind of slow today. They must have a lot of action on the site right now or something. They got a lot of people on the site doing stuff or something. I don't know. See if it'll let me in one here. Let me see if it's working on the phone. Let's see here. It's actually our pick here in the slow puppy. Let's go over. Oh my god, their site is like buggy. I might have to just do it on the phone, man. I got pick 7, by the way. I don't know what this is doing, man. I'm hoping I can get in this before my pick goes through. I might get auto picked here round 1. Maybe it's something with my Wi-Fi. I don't know. All right, we got auto picked. We got Justin Herbert. That's fine. All right, we're in this draft. Let's go to the slow puppy here. All right, so we're on the clock. So we took Pearson Akers the last 2 picks. He took Madison. Blah blah blah. Connor just went. David Montgomery. Look at Montgomery going round 6. We used to get Montgomery like down here in round 8. That's crazy. I'm glad we got Montgomery. I'm glad I got a ton of Montgomery down here in round 8. Let's go up here to the top right. So let's go. This is who's on the board here. I'm going to take the next best receiver, in my opinion. I'm going to go Elijah Moore, if it'll let me take him. Yeah, give me Elijah Moore. All right, I'm going to try to get over to this other draft here. That's the slow puppy. All right, here we go. I'm gonna go over here to the bottom left so you guys can see my picks. All right, I am on the clock. This is a pretty easy pick for me. I'm gonna take Tyreek Hill. We will pass on quarterback. I'm glad we got Herbert. I'm glad we got auto picked Herbert. It's good for me. So Jamar Chase fell to 12. This guy. So Bud here went Christian McCaffrey and Austin Eckler. That is a. You guys know what that is?
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
That's what that is. That is a bold strategy. I don't know if he knows it's Superflex, but I guess not. Don't ever do what that guy did in Superflex. Don't ever go. Ever go 2 running backs.
Don't let him do that.
You don't let him do that. All right, this guy goes Daniel Jones, Jalen Hurts, Nick Chubb. Okay. It's a little different. I like that some of these quarterbacks are staying. If Rodgers could make it to me, that would be a dream come true. I don't know if he'll make it, but I will take him if he makes it to us. Well, here comes the quarterbacks. They're coming off the board now. Here we go. Well, there goes Rodgers. That's wishful thinking, I guess. Jared Goff, man, they're taking all of these quarterbacks. Look at them go. I'm going to take Derek Carr. I feel like Stafford would be a better pick, but it is what it is. It is what it is. I want the Chris Olave stack. That's what I'm going for. I don't know if we're going to get it, but we're going for it. Look at all these quarterbacks, dude, just coming off the board. See, this is a good league right here, to a degree. I mean, Bud kind of messed up, but this is a good league because this is where all the quarterbacks should be going. A lot of these quarterbacks wouldn't fall until like round 4. The fact that we got this many quarterbacks coming off the board in round 3, this is a good sign because that's where they should be going. Barkley just went. There goes Jordan Love. I see. This guy's team's pretty good. This guy did what I kind of did from the 9 spot the other day. I went Lawrence, Cup, and Stafford, and yeah, he's kind of doing the same thing I did. Pollard, okay, it's a good pick. See, Pollard went before Jonathan Taylor. He should go before Jonathan Taylor. I'm glad. I'm glad that people are kind of waking up to what's going on here. I'm gonna take Chris Olave, get the stack there. This guy will probably take Waddle. Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Comes T. Higgins, T. Higgins, T. Higgins. You know you want to take T. Higgins. Takes Najee instead. Wow. Look how far Jacobs has fallen, dude. I knew this was coming, bro. I knew this was coming. I mean, he could be a good value for somebody in the 5th round, but I doubt it. I'd be curious to see where Jacobs is going to start going in these the 1 QB leagues. I need to go back and look and see where he went on the slow puppy that I'm in right now. All right, this guy takes Kenny Pickett as QB number 2. You know, Puff McDuff is trying to probably get Calvin Ridley. I'm not gonna let him get that though. He's not getting past me, Puff. Hate to tell you, bro, he ain't getting past me though. Unless Breece Hall stays on the board, which, speaking of the devil, there he goes. We kind of do need a running back though, man. All right, that guy takes Jacobs. That guy took Jacobs. There goes ETN. There goes Gibbs. Now they're leaving me with no choice. All right, I'm gonna let you have Calvin Ridley, bro, because I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna go Keenan Allen. So this guy's gonna go Calvin Ridley, I would imagine, since he's got T-Law. Yep. I'm gonna go Keenan Allen since I got Herbert though. You never know. I'm not as high on Keenan Allen, but you never know. We are going to go thrift shop running backs here. I would love if Will Walker fell to us. If Walker fell to us, it would be like a dream come true. I doubt it if he falls to us because the guy at the 8 spot and the 9 spot only have one running back, so they're probably going to take him. I would love to get Kenneth Walker, though. It would be amazing. We need some of these quarterbacks to come off here. All right, Watson comes off. This guy's got Deshaun Watson and Tua. I actually like that. That's a good combo there. This is a good combo. It's hard to get this, but if you could get it here at the 11 or 12 pick, that's pretty good too. I don't mind that strategy at all. All right, Joe Mixon goes. We needed him to go. Kenneth Walker's the next running back. That guy took Aaron Jones instead. We need him to hold on for like 2 picks here. We need Hawkinson to come off, and we need a quarterback to come off. All right, Hawkinson came off. Now we need a quarterback, bro. Don't do it, bro. Don't do it, bro.
What an idiot.
Oh my God. You guys don't have any idea how mad that makes me. We're that close. We're always that close. All right, we're gonna take Akers. God, that close to getting Kenneth Walker. It never fails. It never fails. Never fails to get sniped like that. Gosh, I almost spoke it into existence too. Almost. That's okay. We're hoping maybe Montgomery will fall to us no matter what. I would love to get Pierce though first. Pierce should fall to us too though. I'm actually liking this team. It's not too bad. I wish I would have went Stafford instead of Derek Carr, but that's okay. It is what it is. I wish Rodgers would have got to me too. If Rodgers, that would have been great. Rodgers, Geno, or Goff. Really, I'm a little higher on all 3 of these guys than Derek Carr, but you never know. Derek Carr may provide something. We'll see. We'll see. See, this is gonna be tough, man, because if Sam Howell falls to me, I'm gonna take him. More than likely. See what happens here. Well, there he goes. He gone. He gone. He gone. Mike Williams just went. Let's see, who do we got left here? I mean, CJ Stroud has fallen. I don't know how long he's gonna last. We might take him if he's there. I could maybe use another quarterback. Well, we got bye week 11 and bye week, what, 5? Stroud would be bye week 7. I'll consider it. I would love to get Pierce, though. I would love to get Pierce. I wonder if we could get Tannehill later. Probably not. Gosh, all these quarterbacks go so early. It's crazy. We got to take a quarterback here. We gotta go get Stroud. Actually, I changed my mind. Never mind. I don't think so. I think we'll be okay. I think it would be better to go to 2 running backs here. Let's hope that we can get Montgomery to fall to this. I don't know if he will. There's a strong possibility that he does not, but you never know. This guy reached on him, dude. Oh my goodness. He needs a running back, though, is why. And he's the next guy. But see, if I would have taken Stroud, I would have missed out on both of them. Could you imagine if I would have missed out on both of them? That's why I took Pierce. I thought there was a chance that could happen. I can't believe Christian Kirk is still on the board. Why is Christian Kirk still on the board? Anybody know? I'm gonna take him if he's there. There he goes. It's a good value, man. I think it was ADP was like 75, so it was basically right here where Dobbins is. He got him all the way down here after the turn. That's crazy. It's good value. Goes Rashad White. Goes Mac Jones. Jimmy G's on the board. We're not taking him though. Let me look at my bye weeks. So we got bye week 11, bye week 5, bye week 10 for Tyreek Hill. So I'm gonna reach a little bit here. Give me another receiver. Give me Dotson. Pretty good at receiver now. We can move on to running backs, our next 2 picks, or a running back and a tight end. We'll see. We'll see how it unfolds before we make that choice. I kind of want Pacheco, but Pacheco has the same bye week as Akers, and that kind of bugs me. I'll take Connor if he falls to me, though, as well. We still got Kamara out there as well. Since they're still waiting on a possible suspension from Kamara, that was actually 6 hours ago on that news. I'll read this to you guys. This is from RotoWire. Saints coach Dennis Allen said Tuesday, which is today, that he doesn't know if or when Kamara will be suspended. Jeff Duncan of The Athletic reports a suspension has long been expected for Kamara's involvement in the February 2022 incident. That was obviously for the Pro Bowl, for those of you guys that don't know, out in Vegas. Could be coming fairly soon after the running back agreed July 11th to plead no contest to a misdemeanor in exchange for having felony charges dropped. Then again, the NFL isn't always quick to decide these things even after a legal case wraps up. So the Saints will need to be prepared for various scenarios this summer, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so, you know, once again, man, and I've talked about it time in and time out. I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked if he gets anything, to be honest. This is good value on Deontay Johnson. You got James Conner as well. This is, man, I swear. Oh, that's his first running back though. This is a this guy's got one running back. He's got Conner, and that's it, bro. He should have taken a running back right here at 72. I feel like. Or that guy took Pacheco. I'm gonna roll the dice with Kamara. I know he's gonna get suspended probably, but I don't think it's gonna be that much, man. And I think we'll be able to weather the storm. You know, to put it in good terms, I think we're gonna be able to weather the storm with him. We'll probably go get another one here in a second as well. So once it comes back to us, picking in the middle of the draft is the worst. This guy that's drafting right in front of me here at 113, he should take Charbonnet probably. He's got Taylor and Kenneth Walker. It's Gibson. He took Cook instead. I'm gonna go ahead and take this guy actually. I'm going to take Quentin Johnson. Give me another Charger guy here to go with Justin Herbert. I'm probably going to go late tight end, okay? Super late tight end. We'll see. It just depends on who's there and who's not. If Njoku or Freiermuth fall to me and there's a running back on the board that I do not like, or if there's not one on the board that I do like, then I'll probably go tight end. We'll see. It just depends on who's there. Alright, so Njoku just went, Charbonnet just went. Let's see what this guy at the one spot does. He probably goes running backs here. He probably goes P. Ryan, Robinson, AJ Dillon. He goes one of those. There's one. He might go another one here. He should take another one. He'll probably take Dillon. I would take Dillon if it was me. P. Ryan's a good choice though too. He doesn't know. He can't decide. He might go Freiermuth though. He needs a tight end. Jamal Williams. This guy went Jamal Williams.
What an idiot.
Mike Thomas. The guy took Mike Thomas over. He's taking him because of the news today about him reportedly being on schedule to come back and play. Oh man. Tyler Boyd. See, like I would have taken Tyler Boyd over Mike Thomas, like without hesitation. Without hesitation. Damian Harris, I like this. AJ Dillon might fall to me. This would be crazy if AJ Dillon fell to me here. Oh my god, dude.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Obviously not. All right, P. Ryan's there though. We'll take P. Ryan. Give me P. Ryan. I'll take P. Ryan. RB number 4. I do like Freiermuth. It's tough to pass on Freiermuth like that. I have a ton of Freiermuth though. It is what it is. We're gonna go out and get Gerald Everett. We're gonna go get Taysom Hill probably too. That was kind of my plan all along anyways, so I'm not really too concerned with missing on Freiermuth. All right, 9, 11, 7, and 10. Okay. Running backs are going 4 straight. I'm hoping another running back falls to me. Tony's still on the board, by the way, for you guys that don't know. Still on the board. And no, we will not draft him here in round 12. No. I'm not going to take the bait on that one. Okay, so McKinnon stayed on the board. I'm going to take McKinnon. And then I'm going to try to get my 2 tight ends here with the next 2 picks. I'm going to try to. There's no guarantee, obviously. There would have been a guarantee if I took one right there, but there's no guarantee now. Look at all these tight ends coming off the board now. Imagine. Of course. Like I said, we're going to do this draft. We'll wrap up the show after that and call it a night probably. I got to go see a movie here in like an hour, hour and a half. We're going to go see, me and my wife are going to go see Oppenheimer. And then maybe do a little bit of some stuff tomorrow. We'll see, depending on the news. I'm glad a lot of the big news kind of came out today. Because I'm going to go back to work tomorrow night, so I won't be doing anything tomorrow night. I got to work. Probably do that. Probably be working, you know, throughout the rest of the week. But we can still maybe do a stream or something like Thursday or Friday or something. You know, see, you know, this guy did not just take Taysom Hill, bro. Anyways, that sucks. So yeah, we'll probably do a show Thursday-ish or Friday. We'll see. Depends on what the news is. This guy just sniped Taysom Hill from me, dude. That's unbelievable. God, man. I knew I should have taken him right here, but I wanted McKinnon. I wanted to get that 5th running back so bad. That is really a good 5th running back in my opinion, and so that's why I kind of waited. Okonkwo's still on the board, though. I guess we'll take Okonkwo first if he's there. I doubt it if he makes it to us, but I've seen crazier things. I'm gonna be mad if Everett doesn't make it back to me, though. Is the thing. Gosh dang it, man. We could go Jawan Johnson though too instead. That might be the better option anyways. Yeah, so there goes Okonkwo. So we're going to go Gerald Everett with the next pick. Unless this guy snipes me. All right, so we're gonna go Gerald Everett. Take him first. Need a tight end. They're taking all my tight ends. God, man. Somebody finally took Kadarius Toney here at the end of round 12. I see. It would be the guy that took Mike Thomas. No surprises there. This guy's got Kadarius Toney, Mike Thomas, Marquise Brown, Mike Williams, T. Higgins. This might be the worst receiving core I've ever seen from a guy with a top 3 pick. This is terrible. That's terrible. I'm just going to say it out loud. It's terrible. It's not good.
There's a problem. You're not any good.
It's not any good. It's just not, man. And guess what else?
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs?
I just hope we can win a game. I just hope we can win a week in fantasy. Yeah. That's what I got to say about that. I'm gonna take this guy next. I need another tight end. And he fits along with the stack options that we got, so we'll take him. We'll take him. I would have rather have had Taysom Hill just because of the stupid rushing upside that he has that no other tight end has. But you never know. Maybe they don't use him as much this year that way. I don't know. I've seen reports about him, you know, on track to catch more passes this year. We'll see about that, but who knows? You also got a guy, you got Foster Moreau there too, who could actually compete with Juwan Johnson for the starting job. So they got kind of a sneaky, crowded tight end room down there in you know, Saints country. So Saints country, let's ride. Saints country, let's ride. We're riding on Saints country and Chargers country. That's so funny. Let's see who this guy has as his running backs. Jones, White. No, it's Pup McDuff, Pollard, Montgomery. Or no, it was Bud. McCaffrey, Eckler, Jones, Rashad White. Ugh. Tannehill, Jordan Love, Brock Purdy. Okay. Debo, Mike Evans, Elijah Moore, Bateman, Juju. Yikes. And he's got Higbee and Smith. That could be a better tight end group considering. Yeah, I don't know if I like that team much. I don't know if I like Bud's team very much. That's a little out there for me to back. That guy took Foreman. I'm going to take Jerome Ford. Get a 6th running back. And then we'll try to snag our receiver on the way back here. It's going to be close. His ADP is like right where I pick. So we'll see if he makes it around to us or not. We'll find out. This guy sniped me. He took Jaden Reed. I was looking at my phone. This guy sniped me and took Jaden Reed. I should have that guy queued up, so he should come off the board. Alright, he did. Yeah. Give me Isaiah Hodgins. I would have taken Jaden Reed. That was the guy I was going to take. But that is a no-go. We're almost up again in the slow puppy. I might go back to the slow puppy once this draft is over and see who's on the board for us to take. I believe it would be, what, round 8? So... I'm looking for this other quarterback. Is he still on the board? He is. I'm going to take this guy as a quarterback a little bit later. I don't know why Will Levis is at the top of the board. I feel like he should not be at the top of the board. He's not going to be the guy getting reps if something happens to Tannehill. It's going to be Malik Willis. So that, to me, just makes no sense at all. These guys are taking a full 30 seconds, bro, in round 17. I just don't even understand it. They should know what they're doing. Just pick a guy. Like, they've had so much time to think about it. Just pick a guy. You don't take your full 30, bro. Good grief, man. Look at this guy. He's taking a full 30 seconds in round 17. You don't take a full 30 seconds in round 17.
Come on, man.
A full 30 for Hunter Renfrow. Does that make any sense to anybody? Who takes a full 30 for Hunter Renfrow? Give me a break. I'm gonna get 2 more quarterbacks. I'm gonna take this guy if he's there. All right, I'm taking Colt McCoy. Give me Colt McCoy. I'll believe the Kyler Murray news when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it. So far we got let's see, we got Herbert, Derek Carr, Colt McCoy at quarterback. Here's just a super flex Pomeranian. We got Tyreek, Olave, Keenan Allen. So we got Keenan Allen and Olave to stack with our quarterbacks. We got Dotson. We also got Quentin Johnson to stack with Herbert as well. And then we also got Isaiah Hodgins. At tight end, we got Everett to stack with Herbert. So we got a lot of Charger players. And then we also got Juwan Johnson to stack with Olave and Derek Carr. And then the running back, we got Cam Akers, Dameon Pierce, Kamara, P. Ryan, McKinnon, and Jerome Ford. So we're not doing too bad. This isn't too bad for the 7 pick, I would say. It's not too bad. I think it's better than the guy who's drafting second. And the guy drafting second has T. Higgins, Mike Williams, Marquise Brown, Mike Thomas, Tony, Rashid Rice. I'm glad he took Rice. That was a good pick because he's going to need to back up to Tony probably. And he's got Thielen as well. He's got Chubb, Madison, Charbonnet, Tank Bigsby, and Chase Brown. That's like not a very good running back room in my opinion. I think people are a little high on Madison this year. I know he's a starter now, but that is a passing offense, man. He better catch a lot of balls this year. It's the only way he's paying off that ADP, because he ain't gonna run for 1,200 yards. I got 3 picks here. I'm gonna take this guy. I think I'll take this guy next. I do like Isaiah Likely a little bit too, but obviously is a dark horse tight end. So I'm gonna grab that QB. So we'll see what we get here. I should be able to get my QB with the last pick. With the 234th pick, I should be able to get my last QB. We're gonna take Josh Kelly. Give us another Charger guy who you never know, could play. I wonder if Josh Palmer is still on the board. We could take Palmer if we miss out on Likely. I kind of want Likely. I'll take Likely if he's there, but I'll take Palmer if I'll take Josh Palmer if you know, he's not there. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens here. If you have any questions, now's the time to ask, because I'm going to be getting off after these, after these last 2 picks. I'm going to be shutting it down for the night. If you guys missed it, I went over the news again. We talked about Justin Herbert. We talked about Jonathan Taylor being on the PUP list. And then we also went over auction fantasy football strategies and tips. So, if you guys missed those, you're going to have to go back and rewatch. I'm not really going to go over it again. I kind of went over it in pretty good detail. 4 crucial tips you can basically implement, try to use whenever you are in an auction fantasy football league. And they are, in my opinion, good tools to use basically whenever you go into an auction draft where you're bidding on players round by round. So I encourage you guys to go back and look at that. This guy's got 9 receivers. Good grief. I only got 6. I probably ought to just go get... We might pass on the quarterback here. I think we'll pass on the quarterback, actually. Let's go. I'm gonna take Likely, and then we'll take we'll pass on Malik Willis unless Palmer comes off. I'm gonna pass on Malik Willis more than likely. It's not the end of the world if we pass on him, I don't think. I do think he'll play. I do think Malik Willis will get some time again this year, to be honest. I don't know if Tannehill's going to play every single game this year. We'll see if he can stay healthy. We'll see. I would venture to say he probably misses a few games, or if they're off to a bad start, or if they have a bad stretch of games, there's a chance he gets yanked and they put Malik Willis in. So we'll see. Malik Willis is a deep kind of sleeper, I think, as far as Superflex goes. I would have him on my radar if I was you guys at Superflex. I would have him on the radar. You'd probably get him for free. Just like this. Like, he hasn't even gone yet, and we're almost to the end of this draft. You could get him for free. So... So if Palmer goes, I'm going to take him, but if he doesn't... Puka Nakua. These guys are using their full 30 seconds here, round 20. They don't know who they want to take. All right, so this guy took Palmer, so we're going to take Malik Willis. Makes that pretty easy. Give us Malik Willis as a 4th QB. So we ended up with... let's see here. So we go Herbert, Carr. Remember, this is Superflex. Colt McCoy, Malik Willis at quarterback. We got Tyreek Hill, Chris Olave, Keenan Allen, Jahan Dotson, Quentin Johnston, Isaiah Hodgins at receiver. We probably could have maybe drafted another receiver. Oh well. This guy's got 10. And then we got Cam Akers, Damian Pierce, Kamara, P. Ryan, McKinnon, Jerome Ford, and Josh Kelly at running back. And then we just have Gerald Everett and Jawan Johnson at tight end. So a little bit thin at tight end. So we'll see. Or, well, we actually got Isaiah Likely as well. I forgot about him. Not as thin, but a little thin at tight end. We'll see. This guy's got 10 receivers. This guy took Waddle, Moore, Godwin, Flowers, Sky Moore, Odell, Alec Pierce, Paris Campbell, Richie James, Marvin Jones. A bunch of useless guys. Love it. All right, that's going to do it for me today, guys. Like I said, I got a movie to go see here in about an hour, so I'm going to go ahead and call it quits. Get off, get some food in me, and then probably go watch this movie here in about an hour. Like I said, I'll probably be on like Thursday or Friday. I'm gonna go back to work tomorrow night and go make some money. We'll be doing that probably to the end of the week, but we will find a time, probably, you know, Thursday or Friday, depending on what the news is. We might do a stream, like say early afternoon before I go to work that night. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you guys are new, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Also hit the like button for me. It helps me get my content out there past the algorithm of YouTube. And so I appreciate you guys. Like I said, went over the news. We did this draft right here. And then we also went over auction strategies, tips about halfway through the video or so, halfway through this live stream. So go ahead and check that out. If you guys missed that, rewind back. I appreciate you guys. I am out of here. Peace out. Have a good one. And we'll catch you guys probably Thursday.